So in this particular screencast, we're going to power up an chip and connect wires to it, and a light and a battery. So here we have the chip from the last screencast. Again, notice that it's straddling the trough, and notice as well that we have a notch that is on row 1. There's that notch right there. Right, so that means that to this side of the chip is pin 1, and then it's pin 7 right there, which is the ground pin. That's pin 8, and that's pin 14, which is the power pin. That's where we're going to attach the power from the battery to that. And pin 7 again is ground. We're going to attach that to the ground. So you'll notice we have a few different things we're going to be using. We're going to look at the light first, the LED light. Notice that with the LED light, it has one lead that is longer than the other. The longer lead is the lead for power, and the shorter one is the one for ground. So the long one right there, that the ones will attach to power, and the other one will attach to thing. So we're going to place our LED, like that shake motion there. We're going to attach the LED. And by the way, if you look at the LED, there's one side that is straight and one side that is rounded. The rounded edge goes with the longer lead, and the straight edge is one with the ground. So that when you put it in, you can tell by that, instead of having to pull out the LED. So bend it up a bit, and we're attaching the ground to row 10, and sorry, the ground to row 11, and the power to row 10. So in this next segment, we're going to attach the pin 3, which is the output for the AND gate, one of the AND gates at least in the chip. We're going to attach pin 3 to the longer lead, the power lead of the LED. Right, so now we're going to send the output from the chip, and we'll be able to tell and test the AND chip to see whether it's working. Right, so now again I placed the wire on row 10, and because I placed it on row 10, that is connected now to the longer lead of the LED, which is also on row 10. And as well, I've placed that wire on row 3, column D, and pin 3 of the chip is on row 3, column E. Right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to attach the battery pack to the breadboard, and the red is the power lead. I'm going to attach it to one of the columns, the one beside the blue strip. So now all of that column has power. And we're going to take the black lead from the battery pack. That's the ground. So we're going to attach it. I'm going to use the column beside the red strip. So now all of that column is attached to the ground. All right. Oh yeah, make sure your batteries are on properly, so that and again, the columns are now grounded and power. So we're gonna ground the LED, the short lead. So I'm gonna attach the row 11, where the ground lead is, to the column where ground is. And now we have attached the LED to the ground. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to ground the chip itself. Pin 7 is the ground pin. So again, similarly, we're going to attach to that column and carefully place it. Make sure that it goes on to the same row as pin 7. Alright, so there we have it. We have now grounded the chip. Next, we're going to power up the chip, which is pin 14. And so we're going to place a wire in a second. And when we attach it, when we power up the chip, you'll notice that the red light will go on. The light will go on because in this particular, with this particular chip, there the light has gone on. Particular chip. As soon as you power up the chip, all the inputs have value 1 or are on. So in this case, input 1 and input 2 have values of 1. So how do we actually get a value of 0? Well, what we do is we take a wire, we'll attach it to pin 1 and pin 2, and what we do is to get a 0, we ground that particular input. And so here, watch what happens to the light when I ground input 1. There we go, the light goes off because now we have 0 for input 1, and input 2 still has 1. Now input 2 now has 0 as well, and because it's an AND gate, it behaves properly. So if I unplug that wire, input 1 now has 1, but input 2 still has 0, so therefore the light's still off. So if I unplug input 2 from the ground, now I have 1 and 1 again, and the light turns back on. There we have it, a working AND chip.